updates. Bill, do you have anything that you?
You don't, nothing from an A or anything, so no, I have no updates.
There's not too much really that I have. We talked about the new member, the nomination, and it wasn't acted on at the last board meeting. We just talked to Renee, and it looks like that's moving along. So at the next board meeting, we'll probably get approval for the new person to fill that last position on the ECC. And then I guess everybody, it would be hard not to have noticed all the news and the hubbub about Micron, and they're talking about all this projected development that's going to happen throughout the county. And I think maybe it might be some good opportunities, to get some more information from the county. I think we're going to be hearing a lot about them, about, some environmental stuff and some impacts on development. And I don't know if it'll reach down this far, but, just something to keep in mind, and maybe a good reason to sort of stay involved in that county comp plan update. Even if just a check-in periodically on the website. That's it for my updates. Any new business that anyone would like to bring up? Okay. We'll move into continuing business. Also, at the last meeting, I had the brainstorm about, potentially doing the rotating recording secretary. And, when I took the information that I had and I tried to plug it into a schedule, it looks sort of silly. So I'm not sure that it really makes a lot of sense, but Bill and I have some figuring out in terms of what meetings, we're going to be covering in what order. And I was thinking perhaps if anybody was so inclined, have a list of our meeting dates, and if there's anybody who has any interest in signing up to, I have. I lost it. So here's it. To take notes of any of the upcoming meetings, we can sort of fit it into a schedule when we're looking at more coverages.
Right, we can do that then if you want, yeah.
But, oh, here it is. So this is meeting dates. If you have any interest, it would be great. Preferably 2 meetings in a row would be nice just for consistency, but, we'll see what we come up with and if it makes any sense to do it this way.
Okay, if I do it remotely, because I have more time in the winter, but I'm in Florida and I will be, if we do them on Zoom, I'll be there.
I don't know how that all works.
Are we doing Zoom?
Well, you can do Zoom as long as there's a quorum here.
Yes.
And so we have to make sure there's 5 of us here. And then you just need to let us 4 days in advance. So 4 days in advance so that we can do whatever prep we need to do with Veronica and stuff.
Well, the day after Christmas, I'm the hell out of here. It isn't so much that I love Florida. No, it isn't so much that I love Florida, it's that Ed hasn't figured out what he can make me do down there. So it's the rare thing called free time.
So, I think the recording secretary is basically going to take the minutes from this meeting. So whatever we talk about, so that, find out here, whatever, you don't have to try to write and take notes while you're trying to run things and vice versa. So it's just really to write the minutes. So I think that can be done remotely as long as you do it and send them to us and stuff like that.
Oh, that I can do.
So that sort of gets us to, Adam, you had talked about maybe putting together a template to sort of, make it a little bit easier for folks if they were sort of on the fence.
Yes. Which I did, at least the first crack at one, a draft anyway. I have a bunch we can pass around, everyone can look at them. As you'll notice at the top, I already spelled environmental wrong. So why is the draft?
You did.
You should have just left it up there.
That's right. I agree with you. Let's think about it.
That's perfectly okay. Speak typo.
Yeah, you guys can guess where the end of the thing. But I just based this off of the draft minutes that were sent to us last month, and basically the information that was on there. So at the top, whoever was taking the minutes would just write down that they were taking them. the date, location, and time of the meeting, and then the meeting attendees.
Take the notes, yeah, that's why I should do.
And then the 5 major topics, updates, project discussions, new business, open discussion, and continuing business. So as either Kathy or Phil announced each section we were in, you would just bullet point a topic that came up. And then at the end, just the associated person that made whatever point, was brought up, so I can get credited to them. And then at the end, just writing down when the next meeting would be. But even just tonight, I don't know if the approval of the previous month's minutes needs to be something that's documented in the current meetings minutes.
Yes, I'm not
Usually
sure.
it is.
Usually it's like last month we did the whole, motion and second and all that.
Right.
So we should probably, if we're gonna do it documented, then, go through that process and add it on here.
Okay, so I'll add approval of minutes process on there. So is there anything else that you guys see or think or should be in the meeting minutes that's not on this draft?
The only thing I would add is on the attendees, if anybody's remote,
Okay,
the town's remote policy says that it has to be indicated if somebody's attending remotely.
okay, so we'll have an in-person list and then a remote attending list.
One person doing this, or do you want?
Yeah, the thought is, nobody wants to do it. So if we can sort of divvy it up and just get as much of it covered, and then we'll try to fill in gaps, if it makes sense based on how many people are willing to, pick up some meeting coverage.
Yeah, if somebody isn't here when they sign up for it or whatever, we'll just do it. I mean,
Yeah,
that's,
it's-
it's what we've always done. So I mean, it's not like it's not going to happen. It's
Yeah, it'll get covered. It's,
But this way, at least you can put down what works for you.
yeah,
Like it would not work for me in some of the Christmas.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That's right.
Yeah, and
That's
if
fine,
they're,
yeah.
if you're not, if
You
you
want to take
don't,
that? I'll trade with you if you want. I'll take the next couple. No, I'll go later.
Or if you wanna, I'll try to do 12:15 and. I'll just put my name down here and then we'll go from there.
December's meeting.
we were gonna talk.
Yeah. The only other thing, yeah, maybe we want to add on here. Next meeting recording secretary.
Okay.
That way,
It's actually very helpful for somebody taking them.
right, yeah, makes it
Yeah.
easy.
Mhm.
Can always go back. So,
Exactly, yeah.
so,
Right. That's exactly what I did with that meeting in August, because there was so much discussion. It's like, I don't remember what everybody said. You're trying to take notes, you're trying to remember things and then trying to find the next topic.
As long as we're talking about schedules, I thought maybe this could be an open discussion meeting, but it sort of fits in here. And that was, Phil and I were talking about. We know that there are certain times that are very busy for folks, like Christmas and summer and spring. And so the thought we had was perhaps if there's no business from the town to discuss, we might consider skipping a meeting in the winter, maybe a meeting or two in the summer, if things are very quiet.
Yeah.
And
That makes sense. There's no point in everybody showing up. There's nothing to
there's
do.
nothing to talk about.
Like we were thinking the December one, it's the third, well, they're all the third Thursday right now. So it gets closer to the holidays and stuff, so it makes it,
Oh, trust me, I'm completely nuts by it.
I'm sure you are, yeah. And in the summer, you're. busy
Right
time.
now,
Well,
I'm gonna be
I think we
crazy.
should have a club and then can have a few cocktails.
I'm all for that.
I mean, a mall there?
The only thing would be if, say we decide, okay, the 16th of December, we're not going to meet, but then the town comes back and would say, we'd like to discuss this. And that brings us into another item that Renee had just mentioned, and that is that the planning board meets, I believe, on the third Tuesday. And we meet on the third Thursday. So a referral comes from the planning board to the ECC. There's not a lot of time to review it and get comments back to them in a timely fashion. So, and I forget the Ann Smith,
Sue Smith.
Sue Smith, had suggested.
Time if our meeting follows it.
Would be, well, because they just met and then there's a full month, so we would get it and it. I don't know. I was sort of,
Well, 2 days isn't much time for us to look at something
well, yeah. we
worth
could get from there.
discussing.
And so we would have to
Yeah, we'd have to meet again.
put it, right, we'd either have to have another meeting or,
delayed another whole month.
yeah. So
So the
we-
planning board would love that. Is that what they do?
then would we be at all interested in changing our meeting to the first Thursday of the month from the current Thursday?
As long as it's not the second, I'm pretty much, I don't care.
Yeah. Doesn't make a difference to me.
First is okay?
Yeah.
First versus third.
I mean, I do, it's Thursdays, summer, so.
So there's, yeah,
Any Thursday sounds.
I don't have. Third, second,
yeah, just Thursday.
it's just like, oh,
So that would, you know, they would have their meeting, they would send stuff on to us, we could review it, we would have time to get it back before their next meeting.
Actually, that way they could send it on to us and whoever gets it could warn the rest of us that this is coming up.
Right.
Well,
distribute.
yeah.
And,
we'd
and
get it out,
distribute it,
yeah.
and we could have a chance to think about it before we
Exactly.
got here.
Right, exactly.
I like that.
Yeah. Maybe what we could do is, so it's October, our next meeting is scheduled for November 7th, whatever it is, something. We could start this in January, depending on whether we have a meeting in December or not. If we don't, then start the new year with the new schedule.
Sure.
Might be a way of doing it, rather
That sounds
than
good.
having another meeting 2 weeks from now.
Right.
All
We
right,
could do that, but especially if we skip December, then it'll be, you know, it won't be such a big long, it'll only be 6 weeks between meetings and setup.
Do we need
2
to
months.
have a formal answer about that? Or a thing about?
About-
Yeah.
vote, okay, so.
Do we need that?
I don't know. I don't think our meeting is, because we're a committee, we're not really like a board.
Okay.
So I don't think we need to do that. And we can vote if we want, just to, but I don't know if we're really,
And then we can tell Renee and then we're all set.
yeah. We have to change the website and stuff like that.
Does anybody have a problem then with that, moving it from the third to the first Thursday, starting
Not
in
at all.
January?
No.
So we'll let her know and
Is the buildings available at that point, isn't it?
it must be.
Well.
This is the first I heard of it right there. I don't know,
yeah.
but we'll verify that.
Yep, I will put you in charge. Check that.
That's a good question, though. It's a good question.
Yeah, and
Yeah, but you know, we have to.
wait till we find out.
It's
what's
club
going
and-
on.
Oh, the project chart. I had updated it a little bit based on discussions we had last month. I was gonna say week, it feels like it's been about a week. And I just want to remind you again, and this is not like this big formal letter of the law, set in stone sort of thing. It's just sort of a reminder, a placeholder, and just something to keep things on track. And, you know, things will drop off and come on and actions will change and, but it's just, it's a visual sort of. I don't know if everybody had a chance to take a look at the revised chart. Any comments on it or any thoughts about this after having had it for a bit?
What's the date on that?
9/16/22. It's
I looked at
very,
it.
very similar.
I didn't have access to a printer this afternoon, but I looked at it.
So I think it looks good. I had a couple of thoughts. One was an addition. But I know, quite a while ago, Renee asked us to take a look at, see if we could partner with the Historical Society to see if there's anything we can do to help them. So I was thinking just adding that as a project, partner with the Historical Society with no champion, no dates, nothing.
Nothing, just.
But because like we talked about, this is more of I don't want to say a wish list, but just a placeholder, a list of things that we might want to work on. So it's not to say we're going to work on everything or, anything on it, but it's something that if we want some ideas to do what this could do, this could be a place that we start rather than trying to look back in years where the notes on what we did. So anyhow, if I was thinking adding Historical Society partnership or liaison or something like that.
Sounds good.
A couple of other things. I know Adam's on the environmental webpage and it looks like you got all the seasonal contests too. I was thinking about the seasonal contest. Maybe we should just start with like the snowman one, just start with February and see how that goes.
Yeah.
Before we delve into, 3 more. I mean, I think it's good to have these here, but unless we're planting the sunflowers or the pumpkins, we probably really don't have to do too much, and for a few more months. So maybe we should see how the communication,
See what the community interest is.
yeah, the promotion for the snowman, and it might take a while too. It might take 1 or 2 of these to get the community interested or involved. But anyhow, just to kind of get the bugs worked out of the pilot. So rather than trying to start with 4, let's start with, that's what I was thinking. I'll start with 1 and see how it works, because
We have a little poster for that, or somebody could make that up,
well, I think that's part of the actions is,
because if I could have that, I could put it up before Christmas at the
Oh.
park.
great. Yeah,
And, we're always handing, and they're used to us handing them crap to look at.
yeah.
And so I can,
Okay.
they're gonna be tromping in their, to get their trees, they might as well find out what they could do
Right,
further on.
We
okay.
can put them up at the Poppy Mall and
Yep.
other places.
Yep, there should be some,
Yeah.
I'd love to have some.
So just in terms of changes to the chart as it stands,
I don't really, I did nothing really.
Okay.
I wouldn't make any changes. I guess I'm just, these timeframes are targets,
Oh,
so,
yeah.
so I think for our talking purposes, I was thinking just, how does the snowman thing work? Because we say the most creative snowman, well, who's gonna vote? How are they gonna?
Oh,
Are they gonna send
creative
us?
is very
Are they
difficult.
gonna send us pictures? Are we gonna go out and look at them? Or is there any criteria? So before we get to the next one and try to do 4 of these at once, let's just work out the bugs on one of these. And so that's what I was thinking. And
Could we have more than one category, like biggest?
well, the more you do, the more complicated it gets, but yeah. And then
Yeah, but this biggest is easy to judge.
tallest,
Creative is hard.
tallest,
Like when we go out and look for a perfect Christmas tree, we all know what the standard is
Yeah.
that we're looking at. But you try to pick out the ugliest tree and they're like,
Yeah.
Right.
whose definition of ugly are we
Right,
talking
right.
here?
Well, no, I think that's why it's good to talk about
And
this.
that's why creativity,
Yeah,
because it's pink, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm worried about creative
Yeah.
as a standard.
right.
I want something measurable.
Mhm.
And in my mind, if we're gonna keep it simple, stupid, it has to be something that any fool can go out there and measure. But like, tallest.
You say that.
I'm not, I'm looking at everybody. I'm looking at everybody, mostly at me. But I know my own limitations. I'm not judging creativity. But if it's something you can actually get a grip on.
Well, the only thing I would say is that, okay, so who is this for? I'm not gonna build one. I'll tell you that. Who's this for? And it's really the kids. So, okay, so if you do the biggest, like tallest, who's gonna really do it?
Mom and dad had better get involved. I mean, what's the point?
You just don't want them with their front end loaders building some huge thing.
Oh, but they will.
I know, but it's really for the kids, I think, right? Let's go. Okay.
But maybe it's a family contest, not a kid contest.
Yeah. Well, you're definitely right. I mean, I think you want to get family involved, not just kids. but,
Well, yeah,
But
because first of all, the kids aren't gonna read that poster, FYI.
no, but they're the ones that be tugging on somebody's, code to say, let's do this. I can win a.
Creative leaves it open to interpretation.
And that's the problem. Whose interpretation?
The only solution,
Yeah, ours. Yeah.
like, I guess straightforward solution would to be, have everyone send their photos into the Facebook page. And then for 1 week, the photos are posted and the photo
Community done votes.
Vote on it.
I like that.
with the most likes.
I like that.
Yeah. that's
I
a
like
good
that.
idea. Yeah, there we go.
Out of ours.
Because I could measure likes.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Okay,
There we go.
good. Then
Yeah.
They're gonna tell each other about it. I'll go like, we just posted our snowman photo, pop on the Facebook page,
I
and like
like
it.
it. See, I'm not that social media savvy, but that is the perfect solution to my dilemma. here.
Well, it's like going to a parade and having a float, it's like you look at the parades that are in the most, like the Rose Bowl or something. They look at the creative, how much work went into it and stuff like that versus just how big it is.
Exactly, right. And we don't have any responsibility for the outcome.
Right. Even better.
That's the best feature right there.
Yeah, so yeah, that's okay.
So what I'll do, just to focus on that first one, I'll make a flyer, and it'll be formatted so it can fit on an 8.5 by 11, or if it's
Right.
turned around, it can be an 11 by 17, depending on what our printing options are. And then the town can print out whatever they want, put them up wherever they want, and obviously it can go on the website as well.
Good, if the town gets some issues printing some stuff, let me know.
Okay. Base with
Of
Veronica.
course, the other side of the coin is somebody should also tell the Syracuse paper. Syracuse, the community section, neighborhood section of the paper, they will print that for nothing.
Oh, really?
Oh, God, they'll print anything. You can actually post it for nothing on the community calendar page. You could post saying, hey, Pompey's having a residents of Pompey snowman contest. People read those all the time.
Well, the other one is the Eagle
That's free.
Bulletin. I don't know if anybody gets that Eagle Bulletin. That's includes Pompey too. I don't think it goes all the way to Fabius though, but it does include Pompey, so. That's another place we could send it to, they publish it.
Because not everybody goes on the town Facebook page.
No, right. A lot of people, we could even put it in the Fabius Happy School newspaper, maybe.
Yeah.
I like that.
You know, 'cause
I like
that goes to,
That goes to every household, whether you want it or not.
right, and everybody that has kids, so that's.
And that's the kind of free advertising you want, is the one that ends up in their house
Yeah,
without them having anything to do about it.
Yeah.
It just shows up there. Stuff that goes home from school, things like that. It comes in your mail. You
Yeah,
got
not
it.
my mail, I'm in the JD school district.
Oh, crap.
Yeah.
And the CAS people wouldn't get it. But they don't. So you wouldn't get, FM people don't get it. Well, all the more
Yeah.
reason to put it in the neighborhood section.
Right. Well, it's
Yeah.
between the neighborhoods groups and the
Mhm.
paper and Eagle Bulls and in the schools, that's, yeah. The other one that I was thinking about too is the Earth Day. And I was thinking about that, you know, we talked about last time, well, I wasn't here, but I did listen to the, the video. The town can't really buy the trees and stuff like that. But I wonder, I was thinking like, I looked at the price of the tree, depends on what we get, but you know, it could be, if you get 100 or 250 white pine and 250 white spruce, it's about $200 or $220. If you had some pollinator shrubs and stuff like that, you know, you could add another, whatever, 100, 200. Maybe we could do a sponsorship, you know, like, so. And I'll just,
Probably would sponsor part of that.
oh, okay, I was just thinking, you know, I was just gonna pick a name that's not here, and that's Wegmans, and saying, you know, Wegmans, would you want to donate $400? Because I think that would cover everything, more than everything, it depends on what we're going to do.
Yeah, but we're local.
Right, yeah, that's.
Especially like
So
trees.
so when we hit when we do the trees out there, I'm not sure we get a sign printed or anything, but. At least we maybe can do poster board that says trees donated by or sponsored by whatever. Trees and pollinator plants. And again, we're talking probably any minimum, probably 200, maximum probably 500 for a model of trees and shrubs. But anyhow, that was a thought. You know, and that way get a little publicity for whoever wants to do it. Okay, yeah.
Already done.
Okay.
Frank before, I mean, not really looking for. publicity.
Yeah. Well, it's, you know, it's still nice. So like you said, the community gets involved and does it. So.
I think it would be really nicer if it were like community businesses that did this.
Right,
Something
yeah.
like Web-
Well, versus, right, I just use them as an example because I didn't want to put anybody on the spot. Yeah.
Oh, honey, they put us all over. Every damn thing that comes
But
down.
I don't like doing that. Sorry, I don't like doing that. If we had to-
But this one, I actually have a stake in. It's my town.
Yeah, yeah.
Somehow there's a dance program that wants me to put together a gift basket. I'm like.
So that was what, so, okay, good. I'll put you two down for that. It's fine. So that we'll just figure out how to, you know, but even like we do the flyers every year for the Earth Day, so we could put that in the flyers, you know, tree giveaway and pollinator plants sponsored by, and then you know, however you want it to be phrased and stuff. So that would be a way of doing that. Okay, good.
Do the tree giveaway, I mean, I know we give away those little guys, I mean. What about doing something. I don't say a grand prize winner or something like that, but I've got a dozen blue spruces that I planted, pigments on them, and they were about yay tall. And
Yeah.
actually, I was going to buy something like that.
We could do maybe not a 50-50 raffle, but basically. A
Raffle tickets.
Raffle tickets. I mean, they don't have to pay, maybe you don't have to pay for the raffle tickets, but you come and get a tree,
And you get a
ticket,
chance.
And you get a chance. It's like a free chance, you don't have to buy.
Yeah.
So I don't think we could do that.
It's in those. I've planted some of the ones that we gave away. Some don't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
That's pretty much it. 100%.
Oh, really, with the bigger ones? Yeah.
But we could, like. Get a ticket for a free drawing, you know. Anybody who comes and picks up the trees gets their name in the hat.
Right,
For a
right.
free drawing, yeah.
For one of the bigger
For a
trees.
bigger one, yeah.
Right, no, I think that's.
I
a good
like
idea.
that.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
We can put that on the flyer too, you know that.
So that it's always fun to tweak.
Well, I mean, again, you're talking a few $100s. So a few hundred, I mean, maybe the Hilltop wants to jump in. I mean, I'm sure Newbauer would want to jump in. So why don't we get some bigger things to draw more attention? Why should we stop just because we've got enough to pay for the trees we're gonna give away?
Right,
You
yeah,
know,
that's true.
And then you're giving everybody in town. I mean, I'm sure Danny would do something. you
Yeah.
know, Here to Joe. So now, okay, now we've got $1,000.
Right, now we can do not only the little seedling, but some pollinator plants and some bigger ones, and 10 of those or something, yes. Yeah, no, excellent idea.
I think the sponsorship thing, especially if you're getting all local businesses, is a great.
Yeah,
I think, yeah,
Yeah, I
I like that the goal is to get more trees planted. I think-
Yeah, well, that's
I think
right.
that you're up. More trees planted.
I mean, and it's, to me, that is all good stuff. It's a no-brainer. I mean, jumping in on things like that, I mean.
Yeah.
I'd love to win a few of those in my golf course and plant them there, you know.
yeah, right, no, that's. We just have to, see where we get the larger size trees and stuff like that, but that's.
Yeah.
Easy enough to do.
Yeah.
I think
there's-
Adam might know.
Yeah. I think we might know something about that.
Not me, just throw you under the bus there, Adam, but.
Well, I was thinking more about, I know for sure I have access to, and I don't want to take something away from Martha, but bulk seed packets for the pollinator species.
Oh,
I know
okay,
you did
yeah.
that last year.
take it
But
away.
through the nursery, it'd be easy for us to get the seeds at least, to hand out the seed packets with the trees and things.
Well, I noticed too on the DEC website where they have the seedlings, they also have pollinator shrubs.
Right.
So you can buy like 60 shrubs for like $30 or $50, depends on the different types of shrubs. So,
Right.
so we could have some of those too.
Which I think would cater to a different kind of, I'll say demographic, just because some people might want to stay away from either they feel they don't want more trees in their yard, or they're probably not big enough for trees. But if it's butterfly bushes or,
Yes.
Right, they might,
black-eyed
yeah.
Susans or something like that, coneflowers,
Yeah.
they would be more apt to come pick up those versus,
Right.
full-sized
Yeah.
evergreens.
I think-
And besides, Chuck Hipker has land right up here.
Yeah,
I can go hit him up for a bigger tree.
yeah.
It's a good time to start talking about this because there's a fine line between how many plants and things we can give away versus how many people are going to show up. And
Right,
and
right, yeah.
pushing, greater publicity is a good way to get more people here. That's good.
Or making the prizes even a little bigger might
That's
get
right.
people to drive in.
But there's
more.
got to be some
Yeah.
thought about this.
Yeah.
And so this would be a good time to sort of go maybe online and try to figure out what it is that we're looking for, and what the actual cost would be, and then be able to sort of target what we're looking for as a sponsorship dollar, and just get this sort of figured out so we don't end up sitting on. And it was last year, right? We ended up with a whole bunch of extra
Yeah.
seedlings, and luckily they took them in manlius, and so we just want to. I think there's a little bit of thought that has to go into it. So it's a good time to start thinking about it, because April will be here soon.
Right.
And as much as we can try to plan to figure out how many people, might come or try to get a handle on that, we also might want to have a contingency plan for the end of the day? Is there an organization we can scoop up all the extras and drop them off to ahead of time versus running around that day, figuring out where to get rid of extras, whether it's a school or a community center or something. For the extras.
And we also have to plan for the fact that if we have really crappy weather that one day, not gonna get anybody.
Yeah, right.
Well,
The first year we ordered 500 trees and we could have probably given away another couple of hundred because people were asking for more than one.
Yeah,
But we said, no, it's a limit or more than 5. And we said, no, it's a limit of 5.
yeah,
Last year, we said the same thing, a limit of 5, but towards the end, we realized I think we ended up with about 100 extra, but we ordered 600 instead of 500. So
yeah.
500 seems to be the.
well,
600.
and if there's an unlimited supply, people can get casual about it.
Yeah, right.
And
right.
and if they know that they're gonna run out by, look, they ran out last year, well, they'll show up somewhere.
That's the first 500 trees, and after that, you know, you can come up and get your raffle ticket, but you're not gonna get the free tree.
Yeah, yeah,
Yada, 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 and that'll get people.
that's true.
I was just gonna say there's also a huge turnout difference between the first year and the second year.
Yes, right.
The
right.
second year, we were conflicting with the manliest
Yeah.
birthday, and I think that really siphoned off a lot of our traffic, so we
Yeah.
can't do that again.
And we don't really have any say. I think it's the town that decides when Earth Day is, because they're doing the trash and the recycling and all that stuff. And we're just.
Do we know when it is for this next year?
I don't know.
As I said, if we're planning this early and if we're the ones who are going to be in charge of most of the activities, can we have some suggestions or dates if they don't have them set in stone yet? So that we don't have the conflicts with other local.
I'll run that down. Who would I talk to?
Well, I'm-
Probably Renee.
Yeah,
And then, but we'd also might want to look at Manlius's website if they were the ones we were in conflict with last year. It'd be worthwhile checking with them and see when theirs is. And try to schedule so it's not on the same day. So I can always take a look at the next time, how much it's gonna cost for X amount of trees and some pollinator plants. Then we can discuss and maybe even decide next time, okay, this is gonna cost $400. Is that what we want to shoot for? I mean, we don't need to get $1,000 if we're only gonna get $400 worth of trees, or do we want to get 10 big trees? I'm thinking if we get the bigger trees, do we deliver them or do they come, we call them up and they come back and pick them up? So anyhow, those things, I'm just talking off the top of my head. So those things we'll have to figure out too. I don't want to.
Well, if it's a bigger tree, it could be at a place that would actually be able to load them for them, like at Adam's place or mine or
right.
something like that, that would,
Yeah, like head down to Green Effects to pick up your tree.
yes.
Okay, yeah, there you go. That's
And that way they'd be properly cared for.
Right.
Until they're actually done.
right.
Technically speaking, Earth Day in 2023 is April 22nd.
Okay.
There's an actual
What day
honest to
of the-
God
yeah,
Earth
what day
Day
of the
for it.
Pretty week is that?
I don't know. Oh my God, is that far? It's a Saturday. I guess. Wait a minute, I could be wrong.
Is it April 22nd?
It said April 22nd. That is technically Earth Day.
That is a Saturday.
Okay. I just Googled it and I didn't get a calendar up, so.
Well, it probably-
So if that's like a national thing,
It isn't.
we're gonna, I mean, for even this area, then probably we're gonna conflict with Manlius again.
So if it's already on a Saturday, I would off the bat say we should maybe shoot for either the following Saturday or the day after. Yeah. But again, we'll see if Manlius has something
Yeah.
FMR has been posted on.
Do they do a big hoopty doo in Manlius? I don't ever go up there for that stuff.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, rather than a Sunday, maybe the previous or the, yeah,
Yeah, because it's
Saturday before, like,
because it's like, there are a lot of Earth Week
Right.
yeah.
things that culminating in Earth Day, so I think we would probably
We could do the pick off.
Yeah, we can take it off.
Pick off.
Yeah.
Get ahead of everybody, make them catch up to us.
Right.
The only thing I'm not sure of is when they deliver the seedlings.
You could
That's
request-
also
well,
tax day.
I think.
Oh, you can.
Yeah.
That's also the day after taxes.
Yeah, yeah. So, okay.
Might not be a good day.
Or could cheer some people
So we've got some stuff to look into, costs, potential sponsors other than the two that we have sitting in the room. Scheduling, looking at maybe some neighboring towns, come up with some ideas for the town of Pompey. So there's a few things that we've got going for the next meeting, as far as Earth Day goes.
I was just saying, Martha, last year you did the flyer. I don't want to volunteer you, but would you be interested in doing that again this year?
I
or-
could do that, yeah.
Okay. Because this year we might have more than what the sponsors.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll be a work in progress until things get nailed down, but, yeah, okay,
Mhm.
great, thanks.
Phil, do you have anything else on this chart?
I don't.
So really then, we could move into project updates, and the thought was that with this chart, projects that have a champion that people are sort of thinking about, we would do, any updates, sort of like what we just did for Earth Day, the seasonal contests, and a little bit of the webpage. So is there anything else, Adam, that you want to bring up about the webpage? Anything you want to talk about?
To be honest, no, I have not looked into that since the last meeting.
Environmental documents, I had a heck of a month, so I haven't done anything on that myself. Stan, anything on the cell towers?
Yes. As far as actions, if you want to make a list, or I can get together with you. It was just letters. So letters are actually going out. I'll tell you a little bit about that. Review the tax assessments with Ryan Fitz. Is there any monitoring going on? And then is all the necessary, are they updated? Is the proper signage out there? Are they up to date with their inspections, their maintenance? I had met with Renee and Tim Teskey a few months ago, and Tim had said that he would send out letters to all the parcels up there. He got busy and I don't know, better jump didn't get done until I inquired after our last meeting. He took full responsibility, apologized, and said, okay, the letters will go out. So I got copies of the letters as of yesterday. And the letters went out. I started to take a look at them today to review all the letters. And if you want, I can give you a copy of these are the letters that went out to the different towers. It's basically the same letter. And unfortunately, it's the same letter with the same address, and tax ID number and everything. So this is just, there's a different. He took full responsibility and said they redid it and they're sending it, but these are all,
All the same thing.
well, it's, the address is different right here to where it's going. But the letter is the same. So I'll grab them back when you're done. Because this was basically where I noticed as I started to write it down, okay, who do we send letters out to? Well, we send them out to Pinnacle Towers Annex and tax ID number 010-0331.0. And then, okay, went to Crown Atlantic and the tax ID number. Oh, that's the same.
Same with Pilot, same with all, yeah, okay.
So
So,
I
Some of these people don't own that property, so.
right, so I called Tim back and he called me right before the meeting and said, look, I'm really sorry. We've already redone all the letters and they're going up again. So the letters have gone out and it is a very well-written letter. It covers all the stuff in our town code to try to get them to answer this. Now, this is part one.
Wow.
We have not, these letters have been sent out before and not gotten a response from a lot of these people. Okay, so that being said, the Green Calvin letter, they've all gone out now. how many we're gonna get back. I think the last time we sent them out, we got like 2 back.
And how much?
8, I think.
8.
Yeah, there's 8 of them here. I think I did an inventory in terms of structures. 3 radio, 2 cell, 1 TV, 1 Doppler, 1 county, 2 one. I don't have any idea in terms of towers. They're not in any position to really respond. They don't have to. So that's where sort of kind of, that's where we're gonna try to get their attention by looking at the assessments. And I'll be meeting with Fitz on Monday at 10 to review that. And see what he has to say. And Renee is on board with all of this, as I think is the whole town board. I've talked to just about everybody on the town board. The town is looking for revenue. I know somebody that is in the industry that puts up towers for a living and said you could probably double their assessment and they still wouldn't blink.
Hmm.
So this is why this has been an issue for me. I'm concerned about what they're emitting and different things that they're giving off. That's me personally. But for something for the town that anybody in this town should be concerned about in terms of generating more revenue for the town. I mean, as we,
Paying their fair share.
well, I own property and my in-laws own property and I own a business and I pay quite a bit. And so I hope that by doing all of this, it'll all start to come in line. They'll be monitored, which all the stuff that is in here, part of that is monitoring. It's supposed to be mainly at their cost. My concerns will be answered as well, or whatever you want to say. But I hope that we do get responses for all of these. And this also, because I'm looking at right here, this is not, the power overlay district is one, but there's also one on Indian Road. And she's been sent a letter as well. And then in Cranston, I can go up here and
Oh, that.
Oh, look, he has an OVO copy line.
whatever, yeah.
Lockheed Martin.
Lockheed Martin. Lockheed Martin, over there. Now I have no idea, any of that. And I don't know whether they fall under this or whether they're secret or national security or whatever. But those were the 3 things that when I started this, that were my concerns. The tower overlay district happens to be in my backyard. And that's why I'm probably a little more concerned about that and the monitoring. But
The amount of stuff that they haven't done according to code is phenomenal.
Yeah.
it's well, and there's been no reason for them to do it.
There's no consequences. There is.
There's no consequences. There's no consequences,
Fines,
no fines, no nothing. I mean, if you go down Sevier Road and if you're headed down there's one of those Watson huts, is that what you call it?
Rusty and
Yeah, but that tower is not operable.
weeds
You
are.
want all of
And
these-
you can-
you wanted all these back?
Yeah. Well, do you want a copy?
No, it's okay. I read it, but
Or I can send you a copy of one letter. I can get you, I'll send you Tim's email to me, which has all of these in it.
the amount of deficit on that is astonishing.
Well, this is like something that hasn't been done for years. None of this has been brought up.
A lot. I mean, they've,
They
that's
should have done that
great.
day one.
Yeah,
Well, that's why that tower, there's no incentive to take it down.
Yeah.
It's not active. I mean, you can walk right into that hut. I mean, obviously I walk on that road quite a bit and, so the security around it is not good. It presents a liability, it presents a hazard,
You understand that we don't really have an enforcement mechanism that you said that you want to deal with assessments, we can change their assessment.
I'm hoping this becomes an enforcement mechanism. All right, the law, when we started talking about some of the solar stuff, I brought some of this stuff up at the meetings, and because I got upset because T-Mobile was adding to their tower and I didn't get notified. And Tim's thing was, well, it didn't, under the law, they didn't have to notify you. I said, well, the height of the tower is changing. He said, well, no, it's not. Well, yes, it is. I mean, maybe this much, but it's changing because you got this candelabra on the top of it now. So that it is changing. And he has addressed the way the law is written. And so hopefully by kind of changing the code somewhat and the way the law is written, he's done a lot of good stuff. And I'm hoping that we can get these guys to the table. I mean, the phone companies are, I mean, it's millions and millions of dollars, and that's just the phone. The shell game that we've had, I mean, some of these are local, but some of them, I mean, it goes to Syracuse, which then goes to Colorado, which then, oh yeah, we got to send it to California, which then maybe has to go to London, England. I don't know.
So
The
it's a
taxes
big
are
game
getting-
of not me, not me, not me,
The
not me.
taxes are getting paid. That's all the town knows. So from that,
But they're not following protocol.
no, they're not. They're not. And it hasn't been enforced. And this has been my frustration.
So in the actual district permitting there, was there an enforcement parameter?
Under the original law, no.
Is there one now?
I'll have to sit down with Tim.
Okay.
This is something that like I say, we met with a few months ago. I brought it up at one of the board meetings. And he said, yeah, we wouldn't have a problem. I mean, you eliminate this part of the clause and it takes care of this, this and this. I said, well.
So I just didn't know if there was a mechanism for enforcement.
There
Doesn't,
really is, I mean, that I can see, or that.
other than sending them nasty little letters, that's all we got. Well, that just sucks. To be blunt.
Well, this has been, my frustration has been on 20-year cycle. The towers were put up in, the sixties. Overlay district, there was a big to do in 1980. I got involved in 2000 and here we are at 2020. I mean, it seems like a 20-year cycle. Because the Doppler went up with no notification, no anything.
Several public hearings on that up here in this room.
I was never notified.
Okay.
I mean, again, because just like I found out about the T-Mobile stuff by researching myself. And again, I'm sure there was, I don't dispute any of that. I get busy. I mean, all the time, if anybody's a farmer, I mean, I'm a farmer, I grow grass and stuff. And I mean, it just, so in their defense, but from my standpoint, okay, it's up, now it's supposed to be monitored and it hasn't been monitored. And if you tell me there's no danger, then I'm gonna say, well, then why does it have to be shut off when anybody's working on the towers? So I don't know. I mean, those are my personal concerns. All of that aside, this is a tremendous tax basis that the town needs to look at. Because, when Renee and we're talking about going through the budget and where we're at and the money that we've lost because of some of the things the state is doing in reassessing how like direct TV and all of that. She was trying to explain it to me. I mean, town needs every dollar and there's a lot of dollars there.
Yeah.
So, whether we can sit here and agree that what they give off is harmful or not, doesn't matter.
What they're not giving off is the money that is owed them.
What is the power? I have
honestly,
no idea.
I don't know. Ann had it all. I usually I gave it all to Tim, who I think then gave it to Fitz. I had all of these, I had files on each tower and the tax bill was in there.
Okay.
So, I mean, and I showed some of the tax bills to somebody who wants to remain nameless because he puts up the towers for these people. And he said, you need to raise that. You really need to raise that. You didn't hear it from me, but you really need to raise it. And so, I mean.
So somebody could do comparables.
Well, I'm meeting with Fitz
Yeah.
on Monday. We're gonna talk a lot about it. I mean, a couple of guys on the town board, well, let's double it and see if they say anything. You know,
Triple.
yeah, and if they don't say anything, then we'll double it next year. So we get their attention. You know?
I'll warn Ed, he's a board of assessment review.
So, well, there you
The
go.
one thing they really hate is a whole troop of lawyers coming in.
Well, but I mean, if you can get some comps, then, you know, I mean, let them look around. You know, even if you just raise it, I mean, I'm not saying double it, but if you raise it and then you can start to do some of this stuff.
Well, then you also might find out who's paying attention.
Right,
Well,
that's the point, I think.
I think what it is, if Tim doesn't get a response to these letters, then he's got grounds to do some stuff.
Okay,
I don't
Um,
remember a timeline in there. Normally it says.
30 days.
Oh, it was in there? Okay,
It's 30
all right,
days,
okay.
30 days.
That's gonna be my question, because it says if you don't respond within 30 days, town, something about any means necessary. So I didn't know if that was,
Well, it's never been done before.
okay,
When I came in here 20 years ago, the board then, the feeling was they didn't want to ruffle the feathers of, you know, a Citadel or something like that, because they had deep pockets and we didn't.
Mhm.
And I mean, I understand that, I get it. But when we swapped the tower that was there, we found out that there were laws that allowed the town certain rights and certain
protections.
protections. Yeah,
Communications Act.
Right, exactly.
One of those
Yeah.
that did afford the towns
yeah. And
some recourse.
I mean, it's something as simple as visual.
Right.
You know, I mean, where the town
Big
had.
thing back in the sixties, nobody thought about bonding for a tear down.
No.
Never even contemplated. So
Well, that's why, I mean, my concern with the solar, I mean, I'm not against solar, but I want to make sure that, you know, all said and done. When it's time to take it down, because there's a tower sitting there that it's time to take it down, and there's no incentive to do it. None.
there's still electricity going to it. You got me thinking now.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't want.
I drove by it the other day and thought, God, those weeds are high around.
I don't go in there.
Oh, I wouldn't recommend it.
Bob White used to run Channel 9 tower. I was privy, and I got to go in there quite a bit, and that was fun. And he was a great guy. I mean, I always, you know, he had trouble with his driveway. I'd drive over my tractor and blow him out and stuff like that. I mean, I understand, but from my standpoint, I mean, we're missing a tremendous opportunity that I hope we can.
Yeah.
we can't claw that back.
Yeah, well, that's a call
You know,
back. There's a
we-
good way to drive it. So, from my standpoint, yeah, I think, that's what I'm gonna keep doing, and, hopefully I told him if he hears anything back, I'm all ears. Maybe it fits on Monday, we'll talk about some of the, and I'll be able to report again on our next meeting.
Right, sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, thanks, man.
Do you have anything about climate change?
It's bad.
It's still here.
Oh, boy, no.
Right.
So I think that's a.
As an interesting side note, for some reason, we seem to be on Syracuse University's journalism school as the farm you hit up to ask farm questions. I must have you might have gotten the calls too. We must have gotten five.
No, my sister works at SU and I was like.
We must have gotten five of them, and I amuse myself. So, but on their list, the big question was drought.
Yeah.
The big question this year was drought. And yes, you stupid fool, it was a drought. Part of that to figure out. But no, it was interesting that kept coming up. And it's interesting their level of ignorance too. One guy was stunned to find out that Christmas trees don't grow in 1 year. I looked at him and said, so that kind of screws up the rest of your question, doesn't it? We had fun with that. That was wow. That was a wow. The other ones are at least relaxed. Yeah, it was a wow moment. He asked about if the drought was going to affect the trees that we planted this year, if they'd make it to harvest. I looked at him and I went, oh, honey, we have a long way to go here. It was so much fun. Actually, that was actually a high point of the day. I always love those when they come up. I said, oh, that's a funny story.
This is good.
Note to self.
That's right, yeah.
So-
Bless you, students.
Yes, right. Yeah, there you go. Love them.
Well, I don't necessarily love them, but I think they're amusing. And also if their level of ignorance is that bad,
What are they paying?
somebody needs to tell them. And it might as well be.
We've got about 5 minutes, so our next meeting is the 17th of November. Bill, you'll be sharing that meeting, right?
Yes, I will.
And
One more time, what, November
17.
17th.
we've got Martha down to take some notes. We'll have a slight revisions on the template, so that'll be all set to go. Got some things to look into as far as costs for various Earth Day support sort of supplies and materials. I'll do some updating on that chart. Bill, you've got everybody's cell phone number, so we'll send out if it's okay. And the idea of the reminder on the day of the meeting.
I love reminders.
Yeah.
Love reminders.
Phil had suggested, well, text makes sense, and it does make sense.
Does.
If anybody would rather have email, we could do it that way, otherwise.
Unless you're sending me something I need to
Text, I
print
get
out.
Immediately.
Yeah,
Email,
yeah.
gotta go, it's fine.
Yeah.
If we start a group text, I mean, we could discuss stuff.
Right, anybody can add to it
Yeah,
or whatever.
I like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So very good. All right, so
Excellent.
3 minutes short.
Yeah.
Sit here for 3 minutes.
Well, thank you.
Little longer.
Right, right.